Thank you very much, Inga. Thank you. And also thanks to all four speakers in this panel. Now we have some 15 to 20 minutes to a short discussion to really ask the questions that seem most important to us and to you especially. So please, I encourage you to use this Q&A button that is next to this Q&A discussion stage on this page. So you can add your questions every time you want to. But my first question I would like to share with you goes to Riga, to Madara, and it's about a very important target group and also very important partners in our field, and these are teachers. That can we see some ideas or new thoughts how to involve teachers really proactively and use their enthusiasm and know-how developing these relations with school libraries. Madara, how do you see this challenge?
Hello, everyone. Hi, do you hear me?
Yes, you are here loud and clear,
okay.
So please go on.
The problem of teachers is, yes, in the comments, there were information about that they have digital issues, about some kind of computer using, but the teachers is one of the cooperations between public libraries, because they go to public libraries and they want to take a part in their actions. They go with the children. So say that the teacher is, I don't know, the one group which does not cooperate. I don't agree with that, because as I said before, the teacher is one of the most flexible to work with public libraries and also national libraries and school libraries. But yes, there's a problem with their technology skills, digital skills. So this is the field that the public school and the national library has to work with their digital skills and technical skills. But the cooperation with actions and concerts and other creative activities in the library, teachers do that, and they go with the children to public libraries, school libraries, and do their actions. Mm-hmm. So one problem is that their technical and digital skills, but the good point is that they want to do stuff in public library, school library, and do it in the action with their children and students.
Yeah, thank you. I guess that one part of the answer also can be that we can always try to involve them together in a way, that when we have something very inspirational for the children, then I think it's also useful and interesting for the teachers as well. But maybe we can go on with these competences. Ülle, you described these future services of the library. When we think of the competences of the future library, how will that change? How do you think? What kind of knowledge do we need to really implement all that, what future demands from us?
Hello to all. The future demands a lot from librarians. As we know already today, the librarians must be multitasking people. They must gain more digital skills to teach, to support our people in everyday life, pupils, teachers. So the digital skills are most important in the future. And that's why it is very important to work together with universities, with libraries who are providing practical skills to librarians. So all the technological skills are very important to librarians in the future, because we must have in libraries a lot more technological equipment than today. And we must provide it to our people who don't have possibility to have the high-tech technological equipment at home, and also for entrepreneurs to offer digital technology. So I think the most important are digital skills for librarians, and also the skills to know better, for example, Marrakesh Treaty and other European Union legislation and treaties.
Mm-hmm. But then perhaps it's now a good possibility to ask Asko to describe a very common scene from everyday life when we work with libraries and when we also introduce the self-assessment frame and they see that there are so many challenges they need to face. And sometimes they just tell us that they don't want to go along with that because the result, or is it the score, or is it just the impression of their work, is modest. They feel that there is so much to do, like Ülle just explained. That we all need this new knowledge, we need new technology, but sometimes it sounds very difficult to reach that. What would you say for them? How can we sort of constructively still convince them that let's do it, let's have that very difficult path of self-assessment, even if these first results are quite modest?
Okay, thank you. Hello, thank you very much for the question. I mean, it's a difficult thing to say. It's a very difficult issue because, from my point of view, it's the question of knowledge. The question of knowledge as such. It's to put it the simplest possible way. It's always better to know more than to know less, and even if it's a knowledge about yourself, about your own institution, and maybe you don't like the knowledge, I still would think that it's rewarding to look into oneself and to learn something about oneself on a personal level, on an institutional level, and that would be the answer, that the more we know, the better we fare in our everyday life anyway.
Yes.
And as to now going back to this specific issue or the specific document, the specific framework we offered libraries, it's you don't have to show basically you don't have to show it to anybody. You do it in your library, and then you don't like it, you hide it in your desk, and you say you can pretend it never was there. You can pretend you've never seen anything like this. And on the other hand, you may look at the results. You may think, well, there are things I can't do anything about. I can't build a new house. I can't have more money from the local authorities for collections, but there are, even if there are smaller things, there are smaller things that I can do, or that we can do. It boils down to the most difficult of these questions: how to motivate people to look at themselves and to admit that, yeah, well, we could do better always. I don't know. Well, I think I can't. I couldn't answer your question really, but that's the question of knowledge and motivation and empathy in the end. That should be our aim, or our moving force in our everyday work.
Mm-hmm. I guess that perhaps there is also a point in there that when we are ready to open our data and show where are we, then it's easier to find partnerships and understanding also perhaps on the municipal level or government level, so that we can show the numbers, we can show the feedback, we can show the needs, what we have. Of course, the psychologically it's also possibility to hide it a bit, not to shock everybody, but I still hope that in the longer perspective we are ready for this dialogue. And actually this also leads me to the question to Inga, that what kind of dialogue do we need in the society to really make it work, all these activities you just described to us? What kind of partnerships and languages, so to say, we need to speak, in your opinion, to really reach these desired goals? I can't hear you at the moment. Maybe you can see the connection for a second. So, yes, try again.
Hello?
Yes, now we hear you. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. It's my pleasure to be here. And I think the key is to work with for our audience. It is important that people who cannot read regular text dare to ask for books for information they need. And usually a person who cannot read, they just didn't come to library, and we have to change it. We should share our experience, share good news, and one good news I have today, and I would like to share with you that Turkmenistan joins the Marrakesh Treaty, and 100 countries are now part of the treaty. So.
Thank you. This is a good news. This is Inga. If you can check your microphone volume for a bit, we heard you, but if you can add a bit of your volume, then it would be even better. But you are in the air, so nothing got lost. I have a question now to all of you. There is a very intriguing question in our commentary box. Will the 21st century be the last when we really have the physical books? How do you feel? Perhaps we can ask from Madara. How do you feel? Will the 21st century be the last one for the physical books?
Of course, no. No, there will be physical books, because this smell of the book and the opportunity you hold the book in your hands, it is no. There will be books.
That's good.
There will be books in the next centuries, of course.
Okay, but a follow-up question, what are the things in Baltic cooperation that we can do to really keep it this way, so that the smell of the books and the atmosphere of this real library, like Asko mentioned to us, that library is not a bookshelf. Library is something much more special. What can we do on this Baltic cooperation level to really give that message out strong and clear? Maybe Asko can follow.
Excuse me, could you say it again, please?
Yes, gladly. When we think of the possibilities of Baltic cooperation, that what could really be the next steps for that? Are there any issues that sound especially important on this level? Or maybe Ülle wants to comment as from the policy-making point of view.
Okay, we can together encourage people and governments to make more use of the libraries by affirming that the library service leaves a smaller ecological footprint and it is more environmentally friendly. As the point of view from the printed books or e-books, because when we think about the printed books, once it is published, it doesn't need energy anymore. So from one point of view, the printed books are ecologically and environmentally friendly. But from the other side, if we look at the side from e-books, they save people's time. So we just have to say together, what is the role of libraries to support our economy or our environment? So we can do it together with louder voice.
Mm-hmm. Inga, do you have any recipe how to make the Marrakesh Treaty even stronger in Baltic countries?
We need to cooperate. We need sharing special format book, and we do it. We do it already with our Estonian colleagues, with our Polish English colleagues. So we have a recipe.
Good. Asko, since you have now a new position comparing to your previous career, how difficult is the language of librarians from the language of city government? Are there any advices for the libraries how to make your point very clearly and even more efficiently?
No, I don't think so. There's any real sort of magic formula that would help us. It's all in these textbooks on library advocacy, on marketing, on all these issues. It's always the question of being convincing. You have to be convinced yourself, and then you can convince also the others, the financiers, the decision makers. It's when trying to ask the question, there's nothing I can really sort of say that, well, the libraries don't do that, or now I see that I could have made it totally differently, or that we could or we should make it absolutely differently. I mean, Estonian libraries are pretty good, in reaching the decision makers, and this convincing the question of convincing the other side is always problematic, and it depends on so many factors, really. I'm afraid there's no magic formula.
Sometimes it's good to hear that there is no magic as well. Okay, we have time for one final comment. Is there anybody who would like to point out something about this panel? You can just raise your hand, or does anybody has? Okay, then it's a time for a break. Don't forget to watch our short videos. We will also show them during this break. Videos from 3 Baltic countries, so you can see this very important part of the program. And we'll be back here at 2:30 to go on with this open science and open data topics. Thank you all for all the participants in this panel. I wish you a great day.